I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You about to do it up. I love something like this. Late ill kid at OneYoungsta, hold it down, bring that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, oh yeah, coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right. You best believe we ain't telling you no lies. Nerd Soul movie reviews, but we got some cool people, some special guests. We're gonna start right over here. All right, on the screen, you can see them chilling, doing work, tap dancing. All right, artist, illustrator extraordinaire, storyteller du jour. All right, Mike Watson, what's up, man?
What's good? Hey, this dude make me feel good every time I come on his show, man. You feel like a star when you hear. Thank you very much for bringing me back on your platform so we can geek out, talk about this movie. Appreciate it.
Yes. All right, so, and right over here, you know him from NERDSoul Sports. C. Brown, say what's up.
Yo, we bringing you that Wu-Ha flavor on all topics. You know how I do it. It's 2 hands for security going there dunking on some sports. You already know how we do it.
Yo, so we gonna talk about Rachel Nichols this week too.
Woo, Nichols.
We gonna talk about that this week. But anyway, we're here to get into Tomorrow War. That's right. You best believe it. We got the Tomorrow War coming. About 30 years from now, man. It's gonna be tough in them streets.
Hold on. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, cut this off right now.
Yeah, we don't do no spoiler free stuff. So you should have seen it by now. It's been the whole weekend. If you ain't seen it by now, then hey, look, I ain't got nothing for you. We're gonna get in here and we're gonna talk about this joint like we've all seen it. So, you know what I'm saying? 30 years from now, it's gonna be some trouble.
Trouble.
And the movie came out. People felt how they felt. I want to throw it real quick, and shouts to Ghost MKC. I want to throw it out to I guess we'll get started with most epic art over here. How do you feel when you finished watching the movie, or as you were watching the movie? How did you feel watching it?
For the most part, I felt entertained. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but I had fun with it.
All right. Okay. C. Brown, how you feeling?
I feel that there was movies that were similar that were like congealed together to make this movie. Like if you've seen certain movies like Battleship and Battle of LA, like all these movies kind of like just chipped in to build this movie.
Okay. All right. Now, shouts to Ghost MKC says, Tomorrow War was okay, but Starship Troopers is far superior. Tomorrow War was hella watered down version of Starship Troopers.
That's tough.
I'm gonna say this. The way I watch, on the low, I love military sci-fi. Starship Troopers was cool for the time, but on a rewatch now, Starship Troopers ain't doing it for me, bro. I'm just saying, yo, Starship Trooper was dope at the time. Starship Troopers, nah, I don't. The acting wasn't on the level of Tomorrow War. The storytelling wasn't on the level of Tomorrow War. The direction wasn't on the level of Tomorrow War. Now, I could say conversely, maybe Tomorrow War's satirization of our militaristic culture and propagandist culture isn't on the level of Starship Troopers, but that's not the type of the movie Tomorrow War is trying to be.
I would definitely, I agree with both of your assessments. I think they're both on time.
All right.
Because that's one of the issues that bothered me was how convinced the government was so quickly. I needed to see that conversation. I needed to see the conversation with the president, with the UN, where they bring out the proof that, because the whole world.
Well, I mean, they did kind of appear out of nowhere. That helps to go towards your proof. This ain't Lucasfilm,
right? And I feel like in that same point, if we had a little bit more of Starship Troopers, we would have got that explanation. Because you're right, the military aspect, I think Starship Troopers handled much better. But everything else, this is a storytelling, directing, acting. Get Starship Troopers isn't doing that, and
yes,
Starship Troopers is kind of a I forgot, almost not fully. So don't get your feelings hurt, but almost it's a parody film. pointing out the light and how strict the military and things are.
And the thing that comes through with this, with like how I was feeling while I was watching it. At first I was watching, I was like, okay, Chris Pratt doing his thing, trying to, expand out, do something else. And as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So one thing that really helps is when it seems like all the actors have bought into the story. And I think all of the actors here have bought in. J.K. Simmons is a great plus. I've been a fan of Edwin Hodge for a minute. So a lot of their role players in this movie really come through to help push how serious this is, and how dire these consequences are for us losing. Now, of course, there's certain things that we kind of caught or kind of saw from the trailer coming in. But I want to kick it over here to C. Brown first. How do you feel about the effects of this movie?
The visual effects were definitely on point for it to be, I guess, lack of words straight to DVD. But I mean, it was a great movie. We already knew it was gonna be good for the simple fact that they got Chris Pratt to do it. They weren't gonna have him come from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie and then do something whack. So he was gonna stay up to par. And then he's also doing the Jurassic Park movie. So they couldn't give him something that he wasn't. He's like, I'm making bread on these other two movies. I'm not gonna just do this.
About to break bread.
I might have dropped no flopper for no reason, just for kicks. It's like I'm gonna do something that's gonna actually build onto my resume.
Right.
Okay. No doubt.
I never thought about it that way, but that's a good breakdown.
Yeah, I was peeping the effects. There were only a few times where it looked like they could have spent some more time on the effects. But for the most part, those things look terrifying. And the actors, and I know, when you're acting and you're working with green screens and, they're like, hey, look at this block, and you're scared of this block. But the people, even the folks that were kind of like red shirts, like they definitely did a good job of making it seem like they were looking at the thing and being scared of the thing. Also, another shout out to the effects was maybe not so much of an effect, but a visual storytelling trope of, or well, maybe a twist on a trope of like, hey, we're transferring the people. Oh man, some mistake happened. Like, that usually happens. They're like, oh, we're going back in time. Oh, a little mistake. But this mistake cost lives, son. this mistake cost lives. Like this, and I mean, they said like, yo, look, we're really holding this together by chewing gum and chicken wire. Like we don't really know what we're doing. It's basically just a step beyond pseudoscience because we actually got it to work. So it is science, but we're just outside of pseudoscience right now. And when they, when they started dropping and hitting that building, son, I was no more good. I was like, yo.
Or not hitting the building? Like,
oh, yeah. Some people just went straight down. Like, straight down to the hole.
I need them to figure out what that error was. I need y'all to fix that immediately.
Yeah.
Like, that's a terrible way to start because you told me 5 to 10 feet, brother.
Yep. 5 to 10 feet. Not 5 to 100 feet. But shouts to Cassandra Sellers coming through. Cassandra Sellers says, I needed to see that conversation talking about the governments and everything. And Ghost MKC said, TW had too many jokes to the point that the pain didn't hit me at all. Okay. Well, real quick, I want Mike, hit us. How did you feel about the effects on this film?
I thought the effects were pretty damn thorough.
All right.
The creature design was definitely a vicious one. This is the one time where I watched the movie and I thought this creature was really OP. Like OP for no reason. Land, sea, and air.
Yeah. I was like, hold up, they running through the water?
Yeah, so there's literally nowhere to hide with these things. But the CGI was really good. I dug, the military aspect, like the gear. It felt a little bit like that one game, I forgot it, where it's you're in your city gets taken over. It's kind of post-apocalyptic, but there's no more law, and it's a military like co-op multiplayer game and whatnot. It looked a lot like that with how people had their gear and stuff. So I really got that design. But I thought the special effects was on point, and he makes a very good point that Chris Pratt is in some pretty stellar things, so you can't put him in a movie with subpar special effects.
Like straight whack joint, you ain't gonna help. They ain't gonna happen. With this comes the problem or the issue of red shirts. You know what I'm saying? Red shirts. Everybody ain't gonna make it. One thing is I'm watching this movie and I'm like, yo, okay, it's because you got all of these people buying in, and even the red shirts families we hear from, because when Chris Pratt is teaching, the kids are like, what we need to go to school for, son? We all gonna die. And that is not a we're all gonna die like, we all gonna get on and die. But no, we all gonna die like there's some kind of, alien thing is coming. We can't stop it. So what, ain't no need for me to take my SATs, bruh. Yo, what are we doing this for? Like, the prom is canceled, son. It's over. So there ain't no need for us to even try to act like we care about what's going on. And I like how he said, hey, yo, look, this is a class that's important. Like this science, this might be the only thing that can stop it. Like, I mean, I can see if you were saying this, like maybe in, I don't know, maybe in creative writing or something like that. But like science, we might need this one. We might need science to help us out on this one. And then seeing kind of how it affected other families through the news, I dug that. I dug how they gave, even though we didn't get to see the governmental side, I did like to see how much it affected this family and a couple of others. And to the point of the comedy, I'll throw it to C. Brown. The comedy to me seemed to be just enough. And when it got to the point where it seemed like they were going to let him go away with just tons of like comedic stylings, they cut him off or cut the scene or like, so they never let it go too far. You know what I'm saying? But how do you feel?
There's a couple of statements I got. One, the comedian aspect of the movie, it wasn't overdrawn. Like, it was just enough. Like, it was, all right, we need a dash here, but it was never like misplaced or mistimed, I believe. Also, with him having those moments, they also showed the scared, vulnerable side of him as well. Because he's like, I hid. I didn't do anything. I hid.
He was like, look, I hid and I waited for that clock to run out.
So he was like, so he had his moments where he was like showing fear and he's like, I'm trying to help, but I wasn't built for this. They drafted me. Like, yo, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only person feeling like that as well.
Yeah. Because you got Chloe from 24. She came through. She sacrificed herself. You know what I'm saying? So,
but another thing, the government thing, I think all of y'all are talking about this. I think y'all need to just hold your britches because number 2, I think we're going to get hit with so much government, it's going to be disgusting. And
now, do you think we're going to get a second one?
We're definitely getting a second too. For the simple fact that we never saw what happened in that big room that had everybody, so I fail to believe that all of them are dead.
Because for me, I think this is a good,
it's not
kind of like
we're in the mega year of having sequels.
Okay.
Then on top of that, the government showed up and had all this to say when the mission was over, but you ain't want to have nothing to do with it. When we went over
this was my solo mission.
So
I
signed off on it. So I think the next movie is going to be government heavy, and we're like, dang, I wish we didn't ask for this.
I don't think we're getting another movie, man.
Okay. Me neither. I don't think we're getting another one.
I think that may have been the plan when this first came out, but now with COVID and Hollywood studios being more selective of what they push directly to movie theaters and what they send home, I just don't think this is going to do numbers enough for them to say, like, yeah, let's do a sequel. I think this is more of, we can still save this project on an Amazon streaming service.
Yeah, now I will say one thing. As far as movies that have been coming straight to Netflix and stuff, because Netflix promised, like, hey, we're going to have a movie every Friday. Every weekend of this year, we're having a brand new movie. And, Amazon's been doing their joints too. no movie. Well, maybe there's been one. I'll have to check, but there haven't been many movies that have made me want to watch them again. And I watched Tomorrow War twice. Normally, I don't do that. Normally, I'm like, okay, cool, this is dope, and I'm out. And I was like, yo, I kind of like the lore that they set down, even though for me, I think it's going to be a one and done. I like the whole lore of like the aliens and like the crash landing, or were they even, kind of like aiming for Earth and all kind. Like they laid out a lot of stuff that you can either speculate on or pull from later, but this is a movie where I was like, yo, you got military sci-fi, you got people that I like in it, and the only thing is that they killed most of the cool people that I like. But we still got your boy J.K. Simmons, all right? We got Chris Pratt, and you got Sam Richardson's character, the joke man. So
I'm telling y'all, saying that these COVID restrictions are lifting, and they weren't expecting to go where it has gone, somebody's gonna throw money at this. This is getting another one.
Okay. So let's get into, I think, what we kind of already knew from the trailer. From the trailer, we were like, yo, he's gonna see his daughter in the future, right? How do we feel? I guess throwing it to Mike first. How do we feel about the relationship between Dan Forrester and Muriel Forrester?
Well, there's a couple aspects to this relationship, which plays, or I'll run off of the comedy aspect of what you guys were talking about. I thought some of the comedy spots did not hit the way that I thought they should have.
Okay.
I thought they were actually kind of corny at times. But then I do agree it was the right amount of comedy in there, but I just automatically assumed Chris Pratt is going to make me laugh. And in those opening scenes with him and his daughter, he didn't. Like those little moments didn't make me laugh. But then after he came back, everything seemed more genuine, with his daughter. Out there in the future, it seemed more genuine with his daughter. When he came back, it seemed way more genuine. And then the comedy stuff hit a bit more for me. So I don't know if that was something that was intentionally done because of how the story takes place, where he actually does leave his kids because he's not happy with his life. And he walks under the whole thing. So I don't know if I don't want to give the movie that much credit that they put that much thought in the character to make it not hit in a certain spot, but then it does. But that may have also just been how I received it. You know what I'm saying? So there was funny parts in it I really did enjoy, and then I got to reflect and see Chris Pratt or whatnot. But it was still had its funny moments. Just a couple things I was like, could have left that out, or that kind of seemed like he was coasting into it.
All right. So what's an example of something that you say could have been left
out? When him and his daughter were on the couch, when his daughter was on the couch, and he was like, I was like,
yeah.
I just wasn't feeling, I don't know, like
I get you on that.
They did that a couple times, but when it happened in real time, I was just like, I get it. He's playing with his daughter, but I play with my kids, and maybe I do look that corny. I don't know, but I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling the sentiment.
Now, G George, I ain't trying to mess up your first name. Garance, I don't want to mess you up, but said she was way less annoying than the daughter from Army of the Dead. Bruh, you ain't never lied. If matter of fact, if for the actual issue around aliens and future and time travel that nobody got on my nerves. Like nobody in this movie, I was just like, God, why are they here? That never happened. Everybody got their little sprinkle, their little amount of time where they weren't too much. You know what I'm saying? And you right. That Army of the Dead, that daughter, I was like, because we knew when Army of the Dead happened, when they showed that girl, I was like, she coming, right? She coming. Is because we can't just have a movie of super cool. We can't just have essentially Predator with zombies. Nah, we gotta bring in someone who ain't got no skills, but they want to do the most skill needed thing. Like she ain't got no skills, but she want to go in this building by herself and rescue some people. You know,
if we want to be 100% honest, that's why he died.
Yo, you
No,
right.
she
He
absolutely-
died
yeah,
because
absolutely.
of her.
Because I had to take another side mission to come get you
Yep.
and find you, rescue you, and this lady that you look that I don't know nothing about. I could have been gone.
Yo, you ain't told nothing but the truth on that. Yo, your daughter got you killed, son. See, this why he should have been like, she would have been like, I'm gonna come anyway, blah, blah, blah. He should have just hit her with the Vulcan joint, put her straight sleep, and just left. Be like, look, nope, ain't nobody coming with us. It's nothing but straight military people anyway. You know what I'm saying?
See,
but that's a whole nother issue. This movie, I assume that we all agree this movie is better than Army of the Dead.
I think that movie. So I think Army of the Dead is supposed to be annoying though, because in this situation, that movie has 4 movies already tied to it. There's 3 more iterations.
Yeah.
It's like an animation coming out. There's 2 more films coming out. A prequel coming out. So I think all this stuff is tied together. But see, we knew that like Zack Snyder went in and secured a deal with Netflix that they were going to produce everything that he asked for to make this exclusive to them. So he knew that day one.
But my thing is like, if you're just going to make a tropey zombie film, just like save it. Like, the reason why the first Zombieland kind of broke out the way it did was because it's like, oh, we got tropey, but we looked at them from different perspectives and we kind of twisted them and turned them a little bit. You think Zack Snyder being like, yo, man, it's my deal. It's my own personal deal. I'm coming out. I'm all out on my own like Patti LaBelle. And then when you come, you give us a tropey zombie film. I'm like, you gave us the same film anyone could have given us. I could have gave y'all that. There's going to be a daughter. Oh, guess what? You got to bring her. There's always going to be the dead weight. Oh, the guy that's going to screw you when you go out there. Oh, yeah. But you know what? We're going to slide that to the side. We chilling with Tomorrow War. All right? We going to the future and we're aliens that already been here. Now, one thing that I thought was funny was the high school scene when they went to see your boy about the volcanoes. Because when he was talking about volcanoes in the beginning, I was like, you know volcanoes going to tie into something, right? Like, I don't know what it is, but volcanoes going to tie into something. And then as the movie was going on, I was like, oh, well, hey, maybe we just ain't going to use it. No, nah, they got you. And I like the fact that
he embraced it.
The Sam Richardson character, he was like, I would have loved this moment in high school.
He was us, man. He was
because everybody thinks you're weird, and then like the knowledge you possess saves the world.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought normally I get annoyed, when we're always being used as constant comic relief in movies and things like that. But I was not annoyed with him. I wasn't bothered with him. I thought, again, to coincide, it was the right amount. When he was running down the stairwell saying, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit."
Oh yeah,
that's me. That's exactly
real.
how it would have been.
That's real life because let's look at it this way. All right. I own firearms, weaponry. All right. You go to the range. You do your standard shooting. You do your you do your area shooting where you go through. You reload. You load. You take cover. All that. But you're planning on having to shoot humans, not some
eight-legged
thingy with jagged teeth and tentacles shooting
flying
spikes at you and flipping all around. That's not what you. That is not. I'm not trained for that one. ain't nobody trained for that. So it's like when you see it, like when you hear it, you're like, yo, man, I hear stuff. And then when you see it, you're like, oh no, this is real.
Yeah.
And even from what in my mind I thought, they're much larger than what I thought they were.
Yeah, because it made Homeboy a statement or understatement big time. He's like, when you see him, you'll change your mind. Yeah, understatement of the world, bud.
Yeah, like, yo, they they were seriously menacing and terrifying. And I do like the whole, but he didn't let up though. He kept firing, but he was just like, he probably ain't ran down them steps fat. Yo, I tell you, when you running for your life, that's a whole nother speed.
And I like how they were calculating and they were communicating as well, the aliens.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they're like just dumb, just aliens, just killing.
Word.
But you can see that they were communicating, they were talking, they were like making cuts off and like, hey, they over there.
Yo, they also kind of twisted a couple things, like the Humvees are coming. Yeah, and they're like, nope. No, they ain't.
So they lit those Humvees up, man.
You're like, you forget that. So, go ahead.
The movie had a lot. There was a couple things that really did bother me. Not enough to take my enjoyment from the film.
All right,
but it coincides with my first complaint. So you believe these randos that walked out of a light field and told you they were from the future? You just took that at question, like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Enrolled the whole world into the military. But when my man, who went to the future, survived and came back, his daughter is the general in the future, comes back with a toxin that says he can kill them with this toxin, and then tells you, I know where they're at. We couldn't find them before because they've been here, but we need to go check it out. And your response is, I'm gonna waste taxpayer dollars on that.
Yo, now I'm with you. Because when he said that, I'm like, bruh, do you know how many tax dollars have been spent in theory on this whole world kind of conscription draft, you know, and the power required to send people in time, and like the electricity and the working and the nuclear power, whatever. Y'all have spent way more than a airline flight to Russia. All right. And if Russia got a problem with it, just be like, yo, all right, Russia, we ain't gonna come over there. And then you turn around and look at the CIA and say, we going over there. And then I was just like, all right, come on, man. Come on, son.
All right, hold on. In the government's defense.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm gonna take the other side, seeing that y'all both got this side. I'll take the other side. My thing is, you gotta look at it. They didn't ask about any resources because they weren't calling the mission. The future people were. So it's like, all we gotta do is let you take them. Go take them.
But they were still spending money.
They're not. Because the future people was taking them to the future. All the gadgets and all the zapping them back, that's them.
We had to make new stuff.
We ain't gonna do that. Go ahead.
They had to make new things. They needed, like, I don't know, aluminum
back
and
with the tech,
copper and things.
They still had to pay for people. They still had to pay for people to run the facility. They had to pay for people to set up that text message system that would go out to alert. They had to pay for those facilities that those people were in, food. They did have to still pay for gear because they didn't bring them future gear. They just gave them the guns they had were from the future. There were still huge costs.
Corner boys got guns.
Bruh. There were many costs associated with this mission. Now,
like, that was the dumbest excuse ever. Like, he should have been like, it should have been instant, because based off the rules and the story that we have been told, everything Chris Pratt said made sense. To at least send a team of 20 to go investigate and get the proof that it was there. There was enough evidence for them to do at least that.
It's unfortunate because after the mission, dude was like, "Oh yeah, you know, that was all my plan from the beginning. I would have did it anyway." But we knew that scene was going to happen. Yeah. But speaking of that part of the movie, this movie, when I looked at the runtime, I was like, "Oh, okay, this movie kind of long, huh?"
Yeah.
All right, so y'all must be trying to do something for real. So they go do the mission. They come back. His daughter almost dies. She's falling, and that scene was sweet when she was falling, and the mama alien was falling, and all the other aliens.
Pull it back.
That was crazy, right? But when he gets there, I was like, oh, well, I guess they got the toxin, so when they do arrive, they'll just use the toxin, right? No. They're like, we got another mission for y'all. And I was like, word, let's do this. So the whole post-mission, I was there for, man. I was in it to win it. And then I love how they show you the kind of like going to Russia of it all, linking back to the father, the whole flying thing, the whole illegal thing, and then when they actually get into the ship and showing kind of like the design and opening up the lore of like, oh, like they didn't come here. They were like cargo. They're like, I don't know, like cattle or something like that. That opens up a whole new world of stuff where it's like, not only are we not alone, but these things aren't even the top of the food chain, because whatever these things are, we're able to capture these things and put them in. So it really opened it up for me. And I was like, yo, the last, I don't know, 30 minutes of the film or whatever, however long it is, the second part of the mission, I think really opened this film up to be way better than something like a Starship Troopers, to where this is like, oh, no, hold on. We're dealing with some serious lore here and some good action scenes and some good effects and some good acting and direction. Like, this is a situation where it's all coming together where I'm like, yo, like, this is one of them joints that Amazon might have been able to throw into the theater. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to the theater till probably about next year anyway. So, but I'm going to let y'all go in and get y'all little germs and Delta variant and all that out. But I'm glad we got it at home. I was like, yo, this is way doper than I expected it to be. I expected it to be throwaway, and I was very surprised and pleased.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The second half of it was greater than the first half of it. And that's what also is part of the problem. That those scenes were so great, but that was forced storytelling. We had to have the government we had to have a government that says in the beginning, oh, we believe you, this makes sense. Let's go to the future and help fight. Yeah. But when somebody brings a plan that makes even more sense, no, we're denying that, which forces our characters to go left when we should have just went right. Okay. So even though the scenes with Chris Pratt and his father are amazing, they're dope. They're some of my favorite parts. And plus I relate to some of that or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Them teaming up, the way they went in, the way they attacked, seeing the spaceship, building the lore, all that is great. But it's like, we wanted the story to go this way, so we made it go this way instead of letting the story go the way it needed to go. We could have still got that, but what we would have missed from it was the Chris Pratt father reunion. We wouldn't have that if we didn't force the government to say no or not. But we still could have did it, because if the government would have been like, I can send a few people with you and I can send limited supplies, but you got to find your own way over there. That could have got us to Chris Pratt's dad, and we could have still got that.
Yeah, because you could have had him agree with Chris Pratt and be like, look, I agree with you. I get everything you're saying, but Russia ain't feeling us right now. Yeah. But here's what I can do. I can give you bullets and guns. The rest is you're on your own. We got the toxin. We'll make as much as we can. The rest is on you.
And that would have been great. That would have been great. Because that's honestly, that's my biggest flaw. That's my biggest grievance with the film. Because how do you believe this, but you don't believe that? But those scenes with Chris Pratt's dad, they're great. They are on time. That's the one thing from beginning to end that I feel the connection right from the start.
All right, cool. Well, with that said, the ideas from Sabanor come through for a possible part 2. Now we said Mike and I said like, hey, it works as a just one and done, or maybe another story about another facet of this universe later on down the line. But Sabanor says part 2 idea, more people come from the future. There were more more ships, I guess. There were more ships. Aspect of the future have changed, but his daughter still dies just before he comes back, set up for part 3. So, that's interesting. So you could play that. You could definitely play that. The only thing is, it's like kind of like, where did they land? I mean, you can always use Ring of Fire. I mean, because ain't nobody going down there. You could use Mariana's Trench. Ain't nobody going down there. Yeah. So you can always use something like that and say, hey, there was one way down there, so deep, Jacques Cousteau couldn't find it. and then and then running from that. And I wouldn't be against it. I do worry about a film like this and a sequel essentially doing the same thing again. But after seeing this film, if the director and the writer stay on, I trusted it. I believe it. I trusted it. I believe it. I'm down for it. You know what I mean? I give it to him.
Or it could have been like this. It could be something super simple, and everybody was like, "That's too simple." But what I was thinking is, when they was in there and they was injecting them, and they was starting to wake up before they like started blowing up stuff. What if it set off an alarm up there to whoever that was it? It's like, y'all find that, where's that ship been crashed at? And they looked at their map and they're like, where's that? That's Earth. And they're like, let's go. And now it accelerates the war because now they're going to the ship because it's like, we lost that ship years ago.
Yeah, but then that's another alien race that might.
But they still bringing them cattle with them because they still gonna need their weapons.
Or see, that does open up the door because whoever those people are, we don't know. Maybe those white spikes are like the flood, and like they're like, hey, we were, shipping them for, I don't know, extermination on Mercury or something like that, and we crashed here. But dude, there's a whole lot more, and we need help or something, and then maybe an intergalactic kind of thing. I don't know. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? They know better than I do. Y'all go write it. I'll watch it.
And then on top of that, they had the queen, but they never spoke about the king.
You don't need no king.
No. There's always got to be two.
Look, you ain't got. Remember in Aliens? There wasn't no king in that. It was just a queen.
It was not.
Yep. Look at ants. There ain't no king ant. It's just a queen. And all the little men's, they just do their thing.
All them holes that they kept digging in made me remind me of Tremors, though. I ain't even gonna lie.
Not Tremors, though.
Tremors is classic.
Nah, Look, The War After Tomorrow. Go see a trip. So,
The War Before Tomorrow.
All right. So with that said, let's go into. Let me get some final thoughts and a score from 1 to 10. Start with Mike. What's some final thoughts on this and a score?
Good sci-fi popcorn flick, great creature design. It does blend a lot of movies that we already know into one flick. I'm not that mad at it. Couple potholes that service the story they want to be told instead of the story that should be told, especially if there's a way to negate that. But still an entertaining film. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
All right, cool. See?
7.6.
7.6. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is, y'all kind of already know, like, the way that they set it up, there's multiple pieces in that film where they were, if they weren't planning on doing 2, they were sending lines out to like, hey, we want to do a 2. If somebody want to throw a bigger budget so we can make this bigger and make this world and this franchise bigger, go for it. If not, it's a standalone, it's still a great film. So I think there was some reason. Somebody had the mind to be like, yo, we got something sweet on our hands.
Yeah. I'll go and say this. I enjoyed it a lot. Way better than I thought it was going to be. On the sneak, your boy loves military sci-fi. If it's dope, this one hooked me in a way that I didn't expect. From the acting to the direction, the creature design, nobody was annoying. Because this movie didn't have any moments where I rolled my eyes. So, you know what I'm saying? No eye rollable moments for me. There were some things that kind of like, I was just like, oh, come on. But, nothing where I was just like, I'm about to turn this off. I watched it twice. Of the straight to streaming films that we've gotten in the pandemic, I think this might be one of the better ones. And I contest that if this came out a year ago, so if this came out, July in the pandemic last year, people be acting like this was the second coming. I think, because remember, man, it was tough. It was rough and tough at that time. Like now we kind of coming out a little bit. We got Quiet Place 2. We coming out a little bit. We got Black Widow on the way. We coming out a little bit. People actually going outside, but if this was when people were still locked up, we ain't got no Wonder Woman 2 yet. And Wonder Woman 2, You know,
Garbino.
just let it go. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't get that yet. You know what I'm saying? So I think this film is dope. It's worthy to be praised. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Really like it a whole lot. And I wouldn't be mad at another film if they figured out, if we got the same writer and director back, I'm down. If they switch things up, I don't know. So yeah, I think that's where I'll leave it. So with that said, we got everybody in the chat. They want to know, what is Freestyle Comics doing right now? You know what I'm saying? What they got going on? They got the Kickstarter just finished. They got all kinds of books. Mike Watson, please tell them what you got going on.
Dude, it's kind of a matter of what don't we got going on right now. We got a special gift from Victor Dandridge. He relettered the first issue of Hot Shot for us. That's a nice little bonus for the Kickstarter package. We are, starting to finish up the recording for the voiceover episode of Hot Shot number 1. We just redressed all the comic books with the new FSK cover art for all the books moving forward, as we are, our own publishing house again. Artwork has begun on Vigilance number 4. I get my first 6-page layouts on Friday to review. We're doing 6 pages at a time to review, whatever. Taijutsu Gates is in full production. We just brought Tony Clapper with 5-star to FSK, and you're a wrestling fan, right?
a slight old school. See, you still hold it down.
Yeah. Well, we took it old school with his promo. We started attacking each other verbally online and talking trash about our characters, and called each other out on my Chat and Draw show. And made everyone think that we were going to battle. And we just revealed NWO style that he was coming to Freestyle Comics and bringing 5-star with him. So
nice.
A lot of stuff in the kitchen. We announced our next project for Kickstarter, which will be in September, is Emerald Quest number 1. So we out here, man. We out here. Books will be soon to be delivered. Send them off to the printer, so we can get the shipping done on that and everything. So we out here in these creative streets.
Yo, check it. Do not sleep, y'all. Freestyle Comics, Vigilance, got your boy Hot Shot out there. You know what I'm saying? Just creeping on the cover. You know what I'm saying? So search them things up. We got the links below for Freestyle Comics and Most Epic Art. Do not sleep. Now, C Brown, where can they find you?
Yo, you already know. Go to TMC for Nip and Instagram to find me, or go to Dunkin' on Sports on Twitter and just holler at me, and keep your eyes out, because NERDSoul and Dunkin' on Sports, we got some things cooking up. The summer's still hot.
We got some story time coming, because Patreon asked for some story time. So I'm glad you're here. We can do some story time for some 0 to 10 of my life. We're gonna do some story time. I'll let him make fun of me when I was little and all that. And we got a little bit of story, And then after Patreon, y'all will see it. And so a few stories, not too many. Shouts out to the chat. Doris Jones, Cassandra Sellers, Ghost MKC. Let's see who else we had up in here. Garrence George, Antoine Allen. Much love to all y'all. Everybody who's in the chat or even getting your lurk on, or if you're watching the replay, much love to all y'all. Shouts to the OG Patreon supporters. You might have seen them on the bottom. And Tracy Lee, much love to you as well. Let's see, what do we have coming? I might be covering Evil tomorrow or Thursday. Normally I just do it when the season's over, but Evil started back up. We got 3 episodes in, so I got some questions to y'all and all that. See how y'all feeling. You know what I'm saying? Got Luke Cage out there fighting demons. But guys, thank you for coming through. Much love to all y'all. From us, you were saying thanks for watching, and peace. That's right. We're gonna leave y'all with a little bit of Parker Lewis and a little bit of Arcatron. We out. Yeah.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bare-handed so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the Parker Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bearers, we outside. Help the bearers, we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from Hunger.